All right, Michael, our call is officially kicked off, everybody. Welcome to the Senior Solutions Friday agency call. We're back to Fridays. I know we had last 2 weeks because, out of town and traveling and everything. And we had done our calls the last 2 weeks on Thursdays. So we're back to our normal Friday routine. So very good to have everybody on. Our attendance is great. Appreciate everybody taking time to hop on the call. This is Senior Solutions Agency Training Call. We do this call every single Friday, put a lot of work into it. Obviously, this is a live call, so all the people that we have on are already with Senior Solutions. You may be watching this as a replay. Maybe you're not part of Senior Solutions because we do put this out on our YouTube channel. Maybe you came across this video because you're looking for some more information about final expense, how to get started. Maybe you want to get into final expense. Maybe you've already been doing it for a while, but maybe you're just not. You feel like you're getting that feeling that maybe you're not with the right opportunity. Maybe you're looking to make a switch. Today's call is our topic actually is we're going to be talking about getting started in final expense. Okay. Now, thing about this call, Michael, and the topic is that it's not just for new people. I don't care if you've been doing this business, if you've been doing it for 3 days, 3 months, 3 years, or 30 years, okay? There's going to be a little bit of everything for everybody in this call. So just if you're a veteran agent and you're hearing the topic of getting started, don't let that turn you off. Because sometimes, Michael, and I like to get your feedback on this, sometimes it's kind of good to just kind of like reboot. You know what I'm saying? Like just, like a company, have you ever maybe there's an electronics store or whatever, and it's been there for years, and then you drive by and you see a sign that says new re-grand opening. Okay.
Yes. You see it quite often.
Sometimes it's just good to like reboot, and Michael and I will do the same thing. Sometimes, we'll go on what we call like a 90-day madman cycle. You know what I mean? We're just like refocus, reboot. So this is kind of either a get starting / reboot kind of call. And Michael, one of the things I wanted to talk to you about was, we should reboot. And I'm thinking like July 1st, let's go on like a 90-day madman cycle. What do you say?
I love it. I love it.
Would you be up for it?
I would be up for it.
All right, very good. All right, guys. Well, Michael, before I get into the topic, a couple of things too. One is, guys, is that I want you to understand is that this is a live impromptu call. Michael and I, for the most part, when we are speaking to you extemporaneously, we're not, these calls are not scripted. We didn't rehearse anything. Michael, you didn't even know the topic of today's call until you dialed in. So,
right.
These calls are from the heart. Usually what I'll do is I'll come up with an idea for a call, just to let you know how these are generated. I'll just come up with kind of an idea. Hey, this is what I want to talk about. Maybe it's something that I saw. Maybe a lot of times calls that we have are stemmed from conversations I've had with agents throughout the week. And I'm like, man, that's a topic for a call. You know what? We need to talk about that.
Yes.
And I'll just kind of jot myself a few notes, and then we just talk about it. Nothing's I have notes, but nothing's actually like scripted. Just it's talking from the heart, man. But as far as this topic about rebooting, getting restarted, is there anything that you want to talk about or add before I get into the first? There's like 3 things I'm going to talk about, so I can turn it over to you, see if there's anything that you want to talk about before we get into it.
If you look at it from a big picture and a small picture, the big picture in this business is so simple, Joe. It's about attitude and activity. When both your attitude and your activity is right, everything goes well in this business. Now, obviously, we can take those two words and really drill them down to their very essence. Obviously, attitude is all your mindsets. But, activity is, saying the right things the right way in the right timing. That's success, Joe, doing the right things the right way on a day in and day out basis. Consistency is really the key to success in this business. But everybody, just remember, as we're starting here at the very top, we're looking from the biggest, the big pictures, is all about your attitude and it's all about your activity. When you get those two things right, everything else just falls into place. And again, Joe, I also want to be very specific. Every time we get on the phone, every time we do a webinar, I want to always share with everybody a very specific number, and that's the magical number 15. We're out here every day. Our goal to be successful every week is to give 15 presentations a week. If you can give more, that's great, but at least 15 minimum. Because when you give 15 presentations, everything usually works out. So the magic number 15, Joe, I really want to keep bringing up on almost every webinar we have. Because you and I both know when that activity level gets to 15 presentations a week, everything else falls into place. So back over to you, my friend.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. The one thing, Michael, when I first got into the insurance business, when I was recruited into the insurance business, the thing that got me excited the most was the math. Because I'm like a math person, you know what I mean? And I'm very visual. And when I saw the math and then it all kind of made sense to me. You know what I mean? Like, until I saw the math, like everything was like hypothetical.
Yes.
But then when I started seeing the guy on the whiteboard and, the old, it was like being at an Amway meeting, drawing circles and all that stuff. That part kind of turned me off a little bit. But when the guy who was showing the opportunity started pulling out like doing calculations and doing math, now I can relate to math, okay? Because I can do math.
Someone told me the success in this business is a simple mathematical equation. It got me excited.
It is. That's what I love about it. Is that, but it's a mathematical equation, but at the same time, you got to put the numbers on your side.
Yes.
It doesn't work if the numbers are not on your side. So a couple of things. All right. So reboot. So if well, before we get into the call, I do want to just say this. Listen, this is a live training call for Senior Solutions agents. If you're not part of Senior Solutions, if you want to subscribe to our channel, please subscribe to our channel. We put out new content every single week. If you're interested in contracting opportunities, you can text me directly. I can put you in touch with Michael Mahalik, who's National Agency Director. He can talk to you about contract levels and what opportunities are available. But even if you are not a contracted agent, we still, we want to give back to the final expense community. We still want you to subscribe to our YouTube channel, take advantage of the free content. Also, you can hit the notification bell as well. And Michael, I do have a slide here with your information. Okay. However, it does not have, I should put your phone number on here.
That would be wonderful.
Give your phone number out real quick.
Yes, sir. My number, everybody, is I'm on Eastern Standard Time in the Atlanta area. My number is area code 678-830-4096.
Fantastic. All right. Now let's get into the heartbeat of the call. Now, Michael, you should see me. You see me full screen now?
Yes, sir.
All right, awesome. All right. And I like, I kind of like doing this this type presentation where it's not like, a 30-page PowerPoint presentation. It's more just, talking. I don't know. I know when I watch videos, I can kind of relate more to that than just watching a PowerPoint. So I think we may kind of switch to this format a little bit more. All right. So this first part is not necessarily going to be for agents that that are already with us, because you already know how awesome Senior Solutions is. But if you're kind of on the fence, there's a couple of agents on here that I see here that are just kind of getting started. Number one, if you are a new agent, okay, and you're just getting into the business, or maybe you've been doing this for a while, maybe you got signed up with another agency or another IMO, and you're getting the kind of a weird feeling, maybe it's not the best fit. Let me just tell you a couple of real simple things that I think the three things that are most important when getting started, when searching for the right agency or IMO to make sure you're with the right company. Now, these three things are not necessarily weighted as important. Like I'm giving them 1, 2, 3, but number one isn't necessarily most important, and number 3 isn't necessarily the least important. It's just kind of the order that they came to when I was thinking about it. Number one, Michael, I think that when you're selecting an agency IMO to work with, that you want to work with an IMO that is going to be able to provide you with the right amount of training, support, and mentoring. Okay, that's important. Now, whether you've been doing this for a long time or you're just getting started, we all need to be willing to grow and know that we don't know everything. Like I know I don't know everything. That's why I still attend seminars. I watch other IMOs and agencies videos, because I'm always trying to get a little bit better. And there's always somebody out there that knows a little bit more about a subject than I know. And so, you always want to continue to grow. So you want to make sure that you're getting with an agency that's going to be providing you with training, support, mentoring, and also provide you with a good selection of carriers, which usually isn't a problem. Most of the agencies out there that I see do have a plethora of carriers. So I think the main thing is the training and support. There's a lot of companies out there, there's a lot of agencies, Michael, that talk about training and support, but it's really, you kind of have to do it yourself. Like it's hard to actually get someone's attention to actually help walk you through. We try to do a little bit of everything. Obviously, we've got a great website, training website set up. Now, listen, the website is great. It's going to get you pointed in the right direction. We've got a lot of written material. We've got a lot of video training. We have well over 200 videos published on YouTube that you can access. But sometimes it's good just to be able to talk to somebody. And, there's a lot of agents that I talk to, multiple times every single week. And what I have found, Michael, is that it's one thing to be involved with a company, an agency that provides training, but it's another thing to be engaged.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? Like almost every agency out there has training, but what you have to ask yourself, are you actually engaging in the training? Are you working with your agency upline or your manager, your mentor? Are you having multiple conversations with that person, especially in the first 90 days? Man, you should be talking to, we should be talking every day. Sometimes a couple of times a day and multiple times a week. And as you get up and you get running, those conversations are going to be less and less. But you got to, the being able, it's like the saying about the launching a rocket to space, right? It burns up like, was it like 90% of the fuel?
Yep.
Just on takeoff, just to get it a couple of feet off the ground.
Yep.
So it's one thing it's kind of a two-way street. It's one thing for an agency to have training. It's another thing that it takes our participation as an agent to actually engage and take advantage of the training that's available. The other thing that's really important is having a good lead platform. Okay, marketing and advertising. Okay, really, really important. And you need for final expense, man. If you got to have direct mail. If you're not taking advantage of direct mail, you're totally missing the boat. I mean, digital leads are okay. Facebook leads. We actually have a new vendor I'm really excited about. The Facebook leads seem awesome. Facebook leads are great if worked properly. But what you need to be careful of is that there's a lot of agencies and a lot of IMOs that will just keep recycling leads. It's like they'll sell, the leads are shared multiple times, okay? So it's important to work with an agency that's gonna give you exclusive leads, which we do. Now, we also have the shared leads too, but we're gonna let you know about that. But it's important at some point in your career, if you're really gonna take off, and you're going to be a multiple six-figure producer. Like, I'm talking about multiple six-figure, meaning, you want to hit the 200,000 issue paid mark or higher. You got to be working exclusive leads. These shared leads, they're okay in the beginning because you can get them cheap, but eventually your time is going to become too important, too critical. Your skill level is going to get to the point where you almost don't want to waste your time with shared leads. And so with Senior Solutions, we have exclusive direct mail leads, we have exclusive Facebook leads, we have exclusive digital leads, but we also have the shared leads as well. Integrity has that lead platform. We know that you can buy those leads like for $3 or $4 that are aged. Those have been sold multiple times. We know that, and you have to kind of know that going into it. The aged lead store, we know that those leads have been sold before, and that's why they're $1.50, but or 40 cents if you get the older ones. But it is what it is, okay? And those leads are really good to get started on, but eventually you got to make that switch where you're working newer exclusive leads, because man, it's exhausting for someone to try to work 100 or 200 leads a week. For me personally, Michael, I would rather work 20 or 30 highly expensive qualified leads than to be sorting through 200 to 300 a week, like old leads that have been, sold multiple times. What's your feelings on that?
100%. Your time is the one asset that cannot be replenished, Joe.
Yeah.
And the same thing here, I'm not going to expect to pay McDonald's prices at Longhorn Steakhouse. You get what you pay for, Joe. And, when we talk about leads, there's always two things you need to remember. First of all, is conversion ratio. If I know the conversion ratio on any type of lead I'm working, I'm going to know what I'm going to get. If someone tells me I'm going to get 30% conversion on digital leads, I'm running from them. I know that conversion ratio is 5 to 10%.
Yeah.
But I know on direct mail, it's going to be 25 to 30%. Yeah. Second of all is shelf life. And that is the beauty of direct mail, Joe. Wow. There's our good friend Tim Winders told us, one of the #1 Foxman's agents in the country, the lead's not dead until they're dead. And Joe, especially if you're working a small area, maybe you're working a Cedar Rapids, Iowa. If you work that area exclusive with direct mail, you actually just start building your own inventory in that area, because you have people's signature and everything on that lead card. So if you don't get them the first time, you can get them the second time around. So a long shelf life. So anytime you're working leads, no matter which IMO you're with, you always need to ask those two questions. First of all, what is the conversion ratio? On an average agent, out of 100 leads, 100 digital leads, what percentage should I convert And then second of all, talk to me about the shelf life. Is this a lead that as soon as I get it, I better stop what I'm doing and call that lead because tomorrow the next day is going to be too late? Or is this a direct mail lead that, hey, I've got a little time to work it because it has a long shelf life?
Yeah.
And they always say the quality of your life is determined by the quality of your questions. Mr. and Mrs. Agent out there, those are always the two questions on any lead platform you need to ask. What is my conversion ratio and what is the shelf life on this lead? But I'm with you, Joe. Time is your most valuable asset. And I'm like you, I'd rather work 20 to 30 leads that's going to respect my time and pay more because my time is my most valuable asset.
Yeah. Sometimes you have to, especially if you're new, you have to kind of build into it. Because I know, like when I first got into life insurance, and it wasn't final expense, it was it was in mortgage protection. And not to get into all the details, but when I initially got recruited into the insurance, I didn't know that you had to pay for leads, Michael.
Yes.
I was told that leads were provided.
Yes.
And so
Yes.
I get my insurance license. I'm all excited. I call my upline. I'm like, I'm ready to go, and like I'm ready for some leads. I got trained. They're like, okay, well, what's your budget? I'm like, budget? What are you talking about? You said leads were provided. Well, yes, they're provided, but of course they're not free. I'm like, here we go. So, well, what will $50 get me?
I love it. I love
Uh,
it.
so I remember my first lead order was like $50, and I wasn't even buying real leads, dude. I was buying, I don't know, they were like 10-cent lead. They were like, it was just like raw data, basically.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like people that had taken out a mortgage, and then so I blew through those, and then it's like I'm calling back. It's like, well, these suck. Can I get, where do I? And then eventually I kept spending money and money and money until I finally realized I'm like, all right, I need I need the expensive leads.
Yes.
Okay. And back then in 2009, I think those mortgage protection leads, I think they were 25 or 30, somewhere between 25 and $30.
Yes.
Okay. Now, which is pretty reasonable considering today's standard. But the other thing to consider is that I was only at a 55% contract level too. So I was getting the leads for about half of what they were really costing, but I was also at half the commission too. You know what I mean? So finally, then it like, man, it was like this. I mean, it was like complete the quality of the lead. It was like somebody flipped a light, and then I'm like, man, I'm gonna work nothing but these exclusive direct mail type leads. So I mean, so sometimes as a new agent, when we're getting a new agent started, it's like, okay, well, listen, man, make a direct mail order, your minimum order. Let's say if they're $40 a piece, you want 20 leads. What is that? $800,
Yep.
right? Some states maybe $900 for an order of 20. For someone new, that could be overwhelming. What if you want, let's say, 2 weeks worth of leads? That's $1,800 or $1,600 to $1,800. Sometimes agents just have to go through that process. Well, let me start with age leads. Then they go through these age leads. Now, two things happen sometimes, Michael. One is that they get so discouraged that they quit. How many times have we seen that happen?
Or they don't have the emotional fortitude to take the rejection that come from age leads.
Or they realize it's like, listen, all right, I made a couple of sales, but man, I need to get the real leads. I need to get the expensive, exclusive leads where like the ink isn't even dry yet. Like these people it's a direct mail, they're ready to go, or it's a Facebook lead where literally the person, you're getting the lead within seconds of when they responded. We got this new Facebook vendor we're pretty excited about. Was it, they call it like a premier lead?
They do.
Uh,
Yes, sir. That's three very probing, qualifying questions.
yeah, bring that up. What the qualifying questions on these form certified Facebook leads that they have to fill out for it to become a lead.
Yeah, one thing is, why did they request it? Is it for their final expenses, or do they have their final expenses covered? Next is the name of the beneficiary
Yeah.
as well. And then I think the third question, Joe, is that the coverage amount? And the third question is I'm not getting, but
It's either
I
the
know.
coverage amount or it's whether or not they already have insurance or not.
Yes, yes. Do you have final expense? Why did you request this? And what is the name of your beneficiary? But even more powerful than that with those, Joe, they're in a certain radius, which makes them totally different from the digital leads that are statewide. You know, if you live in Chicago or Houston,
Right.
you can get them in your area and you're not having to work the entire state.
Yeah, exactly. On this Facebook lead too, we're working right now. It's either a 50-mile radius. We're also working on getting those in specific counties as well. So that's a new Facebook vendor that we're, just, starting with. So we're excited about that. But okay, so in working in choosing the agency that you're going to be working with, it's they have to be providing. I just used the word providing. You have to have access to exclusive direct mail type of leads, and at the same time, as the agent, you have to be willing to invest in those leads. Those leads don't do it. They don't do anybody any good unless you're taking advantage of it. Unless you're, sending out those mailers, getting those responses, going out and actually meeting with the people. So that's the second part. Third part of choosing the right agency or IMO is the comp plan. Having an easy to understand, straightforward comp plan that's strictly based on production only. In my opinion, the comp plan for level final expense with the majority of the carriers, or maybe a few exceptions, but for the more like your top rated, your Transamerica, Mutual of Omaha, CVS, Aetna, Foresters, all the like the name brand type companies, you should minimum 100% starting comp, and then have the ability to get to the 140 to 145 comp based on production. That's what you need to look at. The other thing, in my opinion, is, Michael, is that agents should be skeptical of any agency or IMO that has a bonus plan.
Yes.
Okay? It's it's fake, man. Listen, at the end of the day, there's only a finite amount of money that's going to go from the insurance company to the IMO. Okay? And you're going to get paid your portion directly from the carrier. All I can say is that if an agency or IMO is offering bonuses, that bonus money has to come from somewhere. It's not coming out of the generosity of their heart. Okay? I hate to say that. But if you analyze, and Michael, we've done this, if you take companies that we know that offer bonus, then you look at their entire comp plan spread out, and you look at all the carriers and the commission grids and the renewal structure, they're just skimming off the top. There's cuts in there, so you're getting paid less on certain products and certain carriers. The renewals are at lower rates, so they can give you a bonus. Okay,
Right.
I'd just rather have my bonus built in.
I agree.
And that's the kind of way, like, you don't have to worry about earning a bonus at Senior Solutions. Have you ever seen the what's the commercial, the spaghetti sauce? They say
It's all in there.
it's in there. It's
Yeah,
ragu, right?
love
It's it's in the sauce. It's in there. So with the Senior Solutions pay plan, don't worry about bonuses, man. You're getting paid a bonus every single week. Every time you get a commission, you're getting a bonus because it's already in there. It's in the special sauce. You don't have to hit certain production numbers or recruit a certain amount of people. And you don't have to worry about, oh, well, you need to sell this one carrier. And if you don't, this carrier final expense, you're at 15 points less, 20 points less. We try to keep everything as even as we can across the board. We pay on what we call pattern one.
Yes.
In other words, we don't have Senior Solutions. We don't have a special comp plan that we design for our agents where you're taking reductions on certain products or renewals so we can pay you a fake bonus. Now there are some carriers that do pay bonuses. Okay, that's above and beyond. Like Americo has the 7% you first bonus. Prosperity has a 10% quarterly bonus. Okay, that's directly from the carrier. You want a bonus? Take advantage of the bonus direct from the carrier. The other thing too is, and this is more for new agents, be leery or weary of agencies or IMOs where you have to pay fees or you have to join clubs to get access to better training.
Yes.
Okay. That's just a scam. I mean, obviously with Senior Solutions, there's cost. We're paying out the highest comp that we can. There are the leads are going to the leads the agents pay for out of their own pocket. Getting a starter kit, business cards, we're not making a profit off of that stuff. In fact, when you look at it, probably losing money on most of that stuff. So there's no clubs to join here. There's no extra fees. FEX Toolkit, we give that to you at cost. I give every agent a 30-day, sometimes longer trial period. I'm not getting a free, even though the agent's getting a free trial period, Michael, I'm still paying for it.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's not, it's not like, oh, I get an agent, with FEX Toolkit and I get a free trial. We're still paying for that agent to get their free trial. And then if they want it for the year, they're getting it for it at our discounted cost through FEX Toolkit. Our whole profit center is based on production, and that's how it should be. It's based on override. You sell a policy, you're going to get the lion's share of the commission. We're going to get our override directly from the carrier, and that's the way it should be. So that's the first thing. If you're now, that was mainly for new agents, or maybe you're on this call and you're maybe on the fence. Maybe you're just getting started with Senior Solutions, but you're kind of on the fence as far as do you really want to move forward? Those to me are the three non-negotiables that you're going to want to look for when working with an agency or a new IMO. Okay, now as far as getting started and final expense, or if you're a veteran agent, this is the time to maybe just kind of like reboot, have a new re-grand opening. Go, man, set yourself on what I said earlier, a 90-day madman cycle. That's where you give it everything you got for 90 days, 90 days straight. And then, man, take 2 weeks off and relax. Take a week off, relax, reboot, re-energize, recharge your batteries. And then you go on another 90-day. I love 90-day madman cycles. But number two, in my opinion, and Michael, you mentioned it earlier, about mindset and attitude.
Yes.
Man, I think this business is, more about mindset and attitude than anything else. I know, depending on who you talk to, but I think the general consensus, if you watch Final Expense or just insurance experts on YouTube or the internet, is I think most people agree that probably pretty close to 90% of agents fail out within the first year. I know Cody Askins has the 8% nation. So right, so he's figuring 92% fell out, and the other guys. But would you agree it's, maybe it's 90%?
Easily. There's a large amount of people, Joe, that never even write their first policy or even buy the first lead that fail out. They fell out probably in the first 60 days. So they
Yeah,
don't. They
most
don't
people
start.
quit. Most people fail out before they even get started.
Yes, they sure do.
But which is okay. So if you're watching this and you're thinking to yourself, oh my God, 90% of people fail out of working the insurance business. Yeah, 95% of small businesses go bankrupt within the first 5 years. Being self-employed isn't for everybody. And listen, if you're watching this video, it doesn't make you a bad person. It doesn't make the opportunity a bad person. It's just human nature. Not everybody is meant to be self-employed. It takes a special person to be self-employed, and most of us, our entire lives, we were trained pretty much to be employees. Everyone talks about being like, oh, being an entrepreneur and being a business owner until you actually find out what it takes to be a business owner. Because when you have a job, you can kind of slack off sometimes. You know what I mean? You go take a cigarette break, or, I'm still getting paid, but I'm smoking cigarettes. When you're self-employed, if it's going to be, it's up to me. I mean, it's the, um, you know, the buck stops here. You know what I mean? The one thing, and I don't want this call to turn into a bunch of cliches, but there is a saying that I heard a long time ago that someone said, in order to be successful in the insurance business, is that you need to treat it like a business, but work it like a job. And what they meant by that is, like, treat it like a business is like you're the president and CEO. Like like, if this is going to be a business, treat it like a business. In businesses, you need to invest time, money, and energy. You're going to get out of your business what you put into your business. And work it like a job means is that you got to show up. The thing about it is that most people, Michael, they want to go from having a job and working 40 hours a week, and they want to be in business for themselves so they can have more freedom, flexibility, and make more money, right?
Right.
The delusional thing is to think that you're gonna open up a business and you're gonna work less hours and make more money. You're
Agreed.
delusional if you think that, especially in the beginning. You need to work, you're going to have to work more hours. The old saying, you reap what you sow, right? So the thing about working any type of business is that if you want more time, you got to put more time into your business. If you want more money, you got to put more money into your business. Okay, and especially if you're new, we're talking about personal production. So you got to spend more time prospecting. You're going to have to spend more time, more money investing in marketing and advertising to get what you want out of it. One of the things, Michael, do you know who Nick Saban is?
Yeah, Alabama, coach of Alabama.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, world, probably one of, if you could say arguably he may be, the best college football
Yes.
coach of all time. Some people, I'm not going to give him that status, but some people, he's won, I think, 7 national championships. Okay, that's a lot. So one of the things that I like about Nick Saban is that when he was asked about winning championships, and some reporters say, hey, Nick, you had a great season this year. You won a national championship. Nick, what are you going to focus on next year to make sure you guys win another championship? His answer was, I'm not going to focus on winning a championship. I'm going to focus on the process. Okay. That's what winners do. That's as final expense agents. Don't if you want to make, if the championship for you is making 100,000, making 200,000, making $250,000, making 350, whatever it is, that's for us in sales. When we don't get trophies. Okay, we get commission checks. Like that's our championship. Like at the end of the year, Michael, when I'm doing my taxes and I see how much I made at the end of the year, like that's my championship. You know what
Yes.
I mean? Like we have a goal. What Nick is saying is like, don't focus on what if your goal is to make 200,000, let's say, don't focus on the 200,000, focus on the process, focus on what it's going to take to get the 200,000, to
Yes.
win your own personal national championship. So you got to focus on the process. The other thing that I've always been taught, Michael, is that you've got to don't put pressure on yourself, put pressure on the numbers.
Mhm.
You said earlier about 15. What's so magical about 15? Can you expand on what's so important about 15?
That is putting the numbers on your side when you work. If you have 15 presentations, even a below average agent, you can't help but win, Joe, when you have 15 presentations a week. And as your skill set increases, you'll even do more and more presentation. But that is the bare minimum that you need to be doing every week to make enough money to make this worth your while, to make this return on investment. Because anytime you're in business for yourself, it's all about return on investment. You need to know what that drop down dead number is for this to make it worth you doing. And what we found out, and all the experts have, is that 15 is that drop down dead number if you want to really make this worth your while in the insurance business. And it's the starting point, Joe. We want agents to have more than that. But for you to survive, for this to be worth the return on investment, it's got to be 15 a week.
I can tell you, Michael, 15 was always my number. And there were some weeks I did more than 15, but if I was doing 15 presentations, Michael, I was pretty happy.
Yes.
That for me, that was always 7, 8, sometimes 9 applications if you get some doubles in there. So you got to focus on the presentations, and then you got to reverse engineer, and you got to put the numbers on your side. You got to figure out, what is it going to take? What do you need to do to get in front of and actually make a presentation in front of 15 people? Okay. So, and we talked about earlier about doing math, right?
Yes.
So here's just some easy math. Okay. So we know if you're doing 15 presentations, is that bare minimum, you're gonna, we'll say, application, how do I want the conversion ratio? We'll just say a 50% conversion ratio.
Yeah.
In other words, not that you're making a sale on 50% of the presentations. You're just getting you're getting a 50% application conversion ratio.
Yes.
Because some of those appointments, you may be actually writing 2 or 3 applications, right?
Correct.
So if you just take, so in other words, um, listen, you may be a great closer and you may close 50 to 60% of your sits. I know that was always my number. I was always, not like I was a rock star, but I always put the numbers on my side. I always made sure I was getting somewhere between 25 to 30 direct mail leads every single week. And for me, mathematically, Michael, is always pretty easy. I knew if I wanted 15 presentations, I always needed roughly about twice as many. Like I just take that number times 2, and that's how many direct mail leads I
Yes.
needed.
I like it.
So pretty easy. I mean, so 15 presentations, I need 30, somewhere between 28 to 30 direct mail leads every single week is going to get me in front of 15 people. And then I know I'm going to get at least probably 7 or 8 applications out of those 15 leads. And if you're writing, let's say what's half of 15 is
7.5.
7.7 and a half. We'll just round it. We'll just say 7. So times 600. Okay, that's $4,200 a week so that's over 200 times 52. That's $218,000 of submitted premium.
Yes.
Okay. That's a pretty strong number. So when we're going to figure out leads, so you're saying 15 presentations, right?
Correct.
Okay. So mathematically, I know I need minimum in my head, I'm thinking 28 to 30. Let's just call it 30 times. What's the average direct mail lead cost these days? About $40.
Correct.
So $1,200. $1,200 a week. And then what was I making? 4,200? So that's net. So I'm netting about, after my lead expense, about $3,000 a week in submitted premium. Okay, so that's what I'm getting paid on the 4,200, but obviously I have my lead cost times 52. It's $156,000 net a year. Okay, so mathematically, it's you got to put the numbers on your side. And what I always loved, what really attracted me to this business was that mathematical equation, and you got to put the numbers on your side. Okay, last thing I want to talk about. Wow, man, it's amazing how fast an hour goes by, Michael.
Oh, it is. I tell you, this is such good stuff. And this mindset, Joe, this is really where it all starts. Without the right mindset, you will fail in not just us, but self-employment.
Yeah.
You're always your biggest obstacle in self-employment.
Yeah, and the biggest thing too, guys, is that I want to make sure you understand this call is for everybody at all levels. And man, I'm talking to myself too, man, because sometimes I need to get myself fired up. I need to reboot, get re-energized. Sometimes at all levels of this business, it's easy to get that feeling that you're all by yourself on an island. Okay, Michael, we get that feeling.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It's like we're running the agency, and sometimes I just feel like, man, I'm just, I need some help, man. I'm here all by myself. I need to get re-energized. The last thing that I can tell you about getting started in final expense and or rebooting is just recommit to following the system. The thing about it is, Michael, I think it's human nature, and for probably since the existence of man, is that we've always looked for a shortcut.
To reinvent the wheel.
Reinvent the wheel, make things better. And I'm all about, improving things, and we're constantly revamping and we get certain things that we think are revolutionary, like FEX Toolkit. I mean, as soon as I saw FEX Toolkit, I'm like, I didn't even have to think about it. I'm like, we need that. You know what I mean? So, we're always looking to improve and revamp, but at the same time, you gotta follow the system, man. Don't reinvent the wheel. Follow there is in any sales process, and Grant Cardone talks about this. I got this from Grant, is that I don't care what you're selling, cars, real estate, investments, doesn't matter. There is a sales cycle in
Yes.
process. The sales cycle, at the very top of the sales cycle, it's marketing, advertising / lead generation. Okay, because you don't sell anything without marketing, advertising, and generating interest in the public.
Correct.
Okay, and that's what lead generation does. Now, I'm not a marketing expert, so what do, Michael? We outsource it. Okay, I don't want to.
Right.
I mean, I don't want to open up my own lead warehouse and run a mailing center. So we outsource it. We let the experts do that to generate the leads. Okay, so that's the first part of the sales cycle. The second part of the sales cycle is the prospecting and presentations. Okay, so I don't care how great the leads are, if your prospecting skills suck, or your prospecting, what's even worse than having bad prospecting skills, Michael, is having bad prospecting habits. I've said this a million times, what you do daily defines you.
Yes. Your habits make you or break you.
We need your habits define you. Okay, so following the system, and as you follow the system, you're going to continuously improve. You can't help but to improve on your prospecting skills, but you got to have the activity. You have to 10x your activity in order to get through that learning curve to become an excellent prospector. So you got to get the lead. You got the marketing, advertising / lead generation, prospecting, presentations. And once you make your presentation and you've made the sale, it's not over. You've got what I call the follow through, follow up. Follow through is making sure is that once you write that application, Michael, is that you follow it through the process. Have a system in your home office that you whether it's on a computer, it's analog, written, however you're going to do it, and I can give you some techniques on how to do this. You have to manually follow every application through the process, making sure that the client is approved, the policy is issued, and the commission is paid. Okay? It drives me nuts, Michael. There are so many, I see it so many times, agents that make a sale and something gets screwed up. They need a phone interview, they need an amendment signed, and they never follow through on any of their pending business. And they lose it. Like it just never happens.
The fortune is in the follow-up.
The fortune is in this case, it is in the follow-up. And then, so that's what I call the follow through. The follow-up is making sure that you don't leave your client stranded.
Yes.
Is that make sure that you're doing that 3-day call. Hey, Mike, this is Joe, your life insurance agent. Hey, man, I just want to let you know, man, your application got processed. I talked to the insurance company. They're going to have that in the mail. You should get it in the mail in about 10 days. I'm going to give you a call just to make sure that you got it. Make sure you don't have any questions. Then do another follow-up. Make sure you're sending out the thank you card. I do that every time I make a sale. When I come back that night after making presentations, I scrub my applications. If they're a paper app, a lot of times they're electronic applications. So instead of scrubbing it, what I'll do is I'll go on to the carrier website, follow through, make sure I actually see the application. I make a little, I can show you guys on every single client. I have one here, I'll cover up the name, but every client, I make a little jacket like this, and I have like the original lead card and all the paperwork, and I'll write notes on here, and I'll follow up every single client to make sure that that it got paid. If it's an electronic application, I'll jot down the application number or the policy number. I want to make sure that it actually gets. It's one thing that for a policy to be submitted, it's another thing for it to be issued. Sometimes insurance companies make mistakes. There's been plenty of times, Michael, where I'm following up and I keep a log of when I actually get paid on a deal. And if I don't get paid, I'll go and look, I'll call the insurance company. I'll say, listen, I noticed my application it's been pending for 3 days. It was an electronic application. I see it was approved, but it's not issued. Do I need to follow? Did I miss something? Oh, we're sorry, Mr. Johnson. We forgot to push a button.
Yes.
It happens. But it's your responsibility, the agent's responsibility, to make sure that you follow up on, we'll get that done for you right away. Okay, great, no problem. Just want to make sure it wasn't anything on my side. Boom, next day, issue paid. I got paid a commission. I'm calling my client. I'm doing the follow-up, the follow-through. That's the last thing that I wanted to talk about as far as one of the most important things is getting started, is follow the system. Every Senior Solutions has a system that works from lead generation to prospecting to the presentation to the follow-up and the follow-through. We've got a system that walks you through the complete sales cycle. Make sure that you're following it. Make sure that you're working with your agent mentor, especially when you're getting started, to make sure that we get all your systems in place, that you're not leaving, money on the table, and you're running your business as efficiently as possible. So, Michael, that's all I have for today. What would you like to add, or do you have any comments before we wrap it up today?
Yes, everything, ladies and gentlemen, that Joe's been talking is what will separate you from being a policy peddler from an insurance professional. Policy peddlers, as we both know, Joe, don't make it longer than 6 months. It's about one thing and one thing only, the commissions and making money for them. Insurance professionals are senior advocates. They are consultants, and they stay in the business for life. And Joe, as we know, they reap those rewards of time, financial, and flexibility freedom. So, ladies and gentlemen, when you're with Senior Solutions, you are an insurance professional. You are a senior advocate. Joe, we don't even try to recruit policy peddlers here because it's all about the client. And when you do what's right by the client, everything else just falls into place. So, again, as we wrap this up, ladies and gentlemen, these next couple seminar webinar calls we're going to have are going to be all about those two subjects, Joe: attitude and activity. So if you take anything from this call today, please write that down if you got a pad. My success in the insurance arena is all about attitude and activity. And you've got two mentors here, right here, going to be with you every step of the way. So you sort of ingrain that. And when you ingrain these beliefs, guess what they become? They become habits. As Joe, I think you put it so wonderfully, our habits, what we do on a day-by-day basis, define who we are. So what a wonderful call, and just looking forward to continuing this. And by the way, we'll talk to each and every person offline about this as well. So please do not hesitate to reach out to us.
Yeah, I would love to have that conversation, man. Make it a great weekend, and 10x your activity, and take massive action this weekend and next week, and you will reap the reward if you take massive action continuously. So it's not just doing it once, it's taking massive action continuously, and then you'll get continuously get results. All right, my man. Thanks, Michael.
Thanks, everybody. Always remember you're in business for yourself and not by yourself. Senior Solutions is with you every step of the way. God bless everybody. Have a great weekend.
Take care.